Not saying. There we go. Okay. Welcome, everybody, and welcome back to Chair Yoga. So, this is the last class for the year 2026, and I'm kind of saying, let's talk about or focus, I guess, on remembering. How about that? Remembering the year of 2026 in a way that is, that just comes to you, that just is the remembering that you choose to do. And we're doing it in a way that is, I love this term, self-havening, that we are kind to ourselves, we're holding ourselves in that remembering. And if remembering, doesn't appeal to you for whatever reason, this year is not one that you could really settle into any sort of remembering with peace, then choose another route for yourself. I see I've got somebody that is not muted. So I'll try that again. Okay, cool. I think that should do it. Anyway, so remember this is kind of my theme for class. Remember this. So bear with me and put yourself in a position that you consider, holding yourself or feels good to you the way you are being with yourself. So for me, it's stuff like this that I put my hands to my arms. I kind of I say pet myself, just sort of stroke. If it's, something else for you that you've got a gesture or a way of holding or being, maybe you grab something, you've got a blanket that you wrap around you because it's always been a comforting experience for you. So that kind of thing, that you bring yourself into this gesture of self-havening, of bringing yourself into a place where you feel safe and protected and loved, feels tender. And close your eyes and bring yourself into perhaps some remembering. Because, we learn from our experiences one way or another. So just to gently and lovingly bring yourself into that place. I have a remembering, I'll just share one of the times I was visiting in my sister and her husband in the east coast of Florida. I sat at their dock, and it was just a beautiful day. The sun was coming through the trees, shining onto the water reflecting onto the trees. Kind of, I can't tell you which was which for sure, but well, sure, the water was shining onto the tree. But anyway, it was extraordinarily beautiful. I mean, like mystical. And I'll never forget it. I will never forget that moment, sitting there and just witnessing that beauty. It was just awe inspiring. So, we have those memories like that have maybe really touched us in our lives. And I think we want to give a little attention to that as we close this year. So giving yourself this self-havening, and include, if you will, if you're game, that you, I like this too, that you're just sort of stroking your face. Maybe, you give yourself a little massage in your head and scalp, just whatever. Don't hesitate. Just let your body kind of tell you what it needs. We'll just give ourselves just a little bit longer with that. Just keep your eyes closed and be with yourself in a loving and tender way, and be willing to express that, a gesture. And then let's meet with palm over palm at the heart center. Closing your eyes, of course, keeping the eyes closed as you now set your intention for class today. What is your heart's desire? Maybe there's a letting go that needs to happen. Now, I'll bring that prayer to mind that we've used in this class before. May what needs to be said is said. May what needs to be heard is heard. May what needs to be released is released. And may that which could be embraced is embraced today. Good. All right, let's release the hands now. Open your eyes gently and get used to the light. And we'll begin our transitional time with a breath practice. It's the three-part diaphragmatic breath. I've learned over time, it seems to be, it's come to light in the last several months, just over and over. So clearly it's something I'm intended to learn. It has to do with the power of counting, actually using counting as part of your breath awareness as an even deeper way in, is to assign numbers, stay with those numbers, count them out. Your brain has to work a little higher gear. So it is a even more effective way of this awareness that we're trying to bring up is by bringing yourself into that counting. So let's remember, we're doing that with that three-part breath. So there's 1, 2, 3 to get up and 1, 2, 3 to go down. So remember, that starts with a big breath from the belly, and then even more inhaling coming into the diaphragm area. And finally, the final breath in is way up here by the clavicle. So count that up and count it back down. So use your hands or not, but you can see the elevation of that. And then count it back down. So there's a three-part inhale and a three-part exhale. And do this on that exhale. Really pull your belly in. So that final exhalation is like emptying out. So try that now. Count it up and count it down. Stay with that. Three parts. In, in, in. Maybe there's a pause. Out, out, all the way out. Now I'm going to still talk while you're doing that because I want you to appreciate. I've always been a big fan of assigning value. So what's the assigned value of this breath practice? The counting I've already mentioned. Keep going. But the other one is more emphasis on the diaphragm. So you really have some intention about that diaphragmatic action, which of course is the muscle of the respiratory system. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing for us to include, this intention of more diaphragm awareness to strengthen it. Okay, last one where you go through the whole thing, inhaling the 3 steps, exhaling 3 more steps. Good. Let's take a big breath in through the nose, sigh it out. Good. And then we'll begin some gentle movements. This is a practice, I think, for slow and meaningful, where we really are paying attention to what we're doing. We're taking our time with it. We're not trying to rush. Start with that block between your legs. We're going to use it a little different in a minute, though, but bring it between your legs so you feel how that just connects you to right alignment. You're sitting properly. You know this pose. You know how this affects you. So you can feel your bottom, your sit bones into that chair seat. You can feel the connection of your feet to the earth. It all, step by step, you're in place now. Let's get our chest elevated. So think of your chest bone and you want to lift that up. And then think of that imaginary wall that you're leaning back into. So shoulder blades and as well as the back of the head makes its way to an imaginary wall. Push your feet now so you feel like you're really balanced, because you pull yourself back. What about the front part? Bring yourself down through the, that grounding of those legs and down into your feet. Let's do some shoulder rolls. So get some real good movement here where you're pulling up, back, and down, moving through the shoulder blades. If you ever find yourself with a stiff neck, do these shoulder rolls. Certainly add that to whatever it is you're using or trying to do to release that tension in your stiff neck. Definitely include shoulder rolls. Now try one shoulder at a time. So it just takes a little more coordination. Now notice how you're breathing. Just notice how that is and see if you can improve upon that, meaning more awareness. Maybe there's a depth of breath that you could find for yourself? Stay with the single, one shoulder at a time to reverse it, to reverse the shoulder roll one shoulder at a time. Notice again your breath. How is your breath coping with this? So you're trying to stay with the awareness of your breath because you have the ability to improve on it. Once you bring your mind to it, then you're like, oh, let's deepen that, or I'm going to really focus on that. Excellent. Inhale with me all the way up, palms together overhead. Look up. Let's pause right there. Gentle touch of your palms together. If it feels good to lift your face to look up, great. Do that. Press your feet down, squeeze that block. Now just settle into that for several breaths. Count out 5 breaths, both in and out. That's a count of 1. In and out. That's how we count. 5 breaths. Once you've reached your count of 5, come into that heart opening pose. Heart opening is the W-shaped arms, and we can feel the shoulder blades squeezing toward each other in the back. Let's open up our hands wide open. Breathing in and out. Heart opening. Inhale up. Exhale, open your heart. Inhale up. Exhale, open that heart. Count 5 more like that. Keep going. Way out. Once you've reached your count of 5, just hold it in that heart opening position and then raise your elbows a little bit so you're more into the goddess pose. So we've just got elbows elevated there, and you can drop your fingertips down. So we're just going to lift up the hands and bring them on down by keeping the upper arms kind of in their very place. We don't move them a lot. We're just hinging here at the elbows, of course, and just coming up and down. And then start to notice where you feel that in your body. What does this movement feel like in your arms? Let's hold that scarecrow. So we got the elbows up. See if you can soften anything. If anything feels all kind of tight and not very comfortable, see if you can release any amount of that, because it's awkward. And then very slowly drop your hands down to alongside the chair's frame so you can feel the feeling of letting go. I can feel it already. We just got started. I can already feel how beautiful that is to let go. Left arm is up. We're just pushing the palm of our hand up like we're trying to touch that ceiling. Look up if that feels good. And let the other arm, feels like you've got a sandbag tied to that other arm and it's getting grounded. It's feeling like it's anchoring you while you lift up and away from that anchor. Now, how does that feel in your hips and legs when your upper body is doing that? Breathe in, breathe out, notice. Let's bring our head back to neutral. Take the fingertips of that hand that's up in the air and touch the back of you somewhere. So your head still stays up. You're not ducking your head. You still got your head aligned with your spine, but you touched your fingertips to the back body. Let's get that other hand involved to grab hold of the elbow or some part of your arm. And then we're going to just do a side bend here. So this armpit is open and exposed. So that's where you're feeling the stretch or that you're directing your awareness. Full breath in and out. Find that exhale going all the way down into your pelvis. So you take your big inhale, but make sure that exhale finds its way at least down into the pelvis. And you've got a frame around your head. So let that be a source of support for your neck. Excellent. When we come out of that, let's take our backstroke. Let's do another one of those. So inhale is up, big backstroke all the way down. Side 2, we're going to just reach up, palm reaching up. The other arm is going to tie that sandbag for anchor. Push your feet to the floor. Pay attention to how it feels to lift your head up, lift your face up, and adjust if there's an adjustment needed. You know, your body is telling you what to do here. Your breath too. So find your breath. Inhale and exhale. Find the breath. How does your pelvis feel and your legs? I want you to feel strong there. Let's bring our head back to neutral. That top hand, fingertips are reaching behind you now. Just same thing. Might touch a different part of your back. Keep your head up. Frame your face and head by grabbing hold of that elbow. And then the side bend. How you're turning your head, the way your ears are facing, that matters. The hand that's behind your head there, right there by your neck, maybe you're using self-havening. You're kind of holding or pushing or petting or something that makes it feel better back there for your neck. Remember to exhale completely. When we come out of that, we're going to use our backstroke all the way down and around. Some shoulder rolls. And change the direction. Good. And now here's where I wanted to do something different with the block. So instead of between your legs, bring it behind you so that it supports your sacrum. So you're going to push it, wedge it in there so that it's not in the low back. It's not in the lumbar area. It's right at the sacrum. So position it. Maybe you scoot back just a tad because you want that block and the interaction with your backrest there to really stabilize your pelvis by way of the sacrum. So again, you're not leaning, your back is not into the backrest, but you've got this new support here of the sacrum with that block. We're going to do our joint movement, and instead of heisting up our leg like we typically do, let's use more belly strength. So try to do it hands free or hands to the chair as we move up, lift one foot up and start circling around into that ankle. So you can feel yourself stabilized by that block back there. Now find your breath. Even in this, we got to notice what's happening with the breath. Can you feel the difference of you just holding it up with your own core strength instead of us holding it up with our hands? It's different, isn't it? Let's move that lower leg so we're into that. Maybe you took a break in between. That's okay. Maybe you put your foot down before you got into the knee. Good. Now try straightening and bending. Maybe by now you're saying, well, heck, I got to hold on. So you choose. Now let's all get a hold of that underside, lift it way up, straighten it out, push, get it way high. Now see if you can do it without hands and let that leg come down, 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 heel is down. Inhale with me. Exhale, touch those toes. Swoop that up. Inhale comes up. Exhale, touch those toes or touch something. Last one. All the way up. Let's just neutralize that. I got to kind of reposition my block back there. I got a little goofed up. Side two, so no hands if you can do it. And lift up and start circling that ankle. The standing leg, that matters a lot, doesn't it? Really push down on that so you feel you got as much help as you can get. The circle into the knee joint. Notice your breath. Maybe you're taking heartier breaths, something like that. And then straighten it out and bend the knee. Remember, you can always hold on to the chair. You can always hold on to your leg. It's up to you. Good. And then let's get a hold of it so we can get really high up. Get as high up as you can. Lift it up, straighten it out, spread the toes, and then release your hands so you can gently, slowly, mindfully bring that heel down to the floor. Inhale up. Exhale, touch your toes. Sweep yourself up, inhaling, exhaling. Reach for the toes or the floor or something. Last time. Hands come back to your legs. We get both our feet together. Let's lose the block now. Bring it underneath the chair or wherever you lose the block. Heels are in, toes are out. Let's find some movement in the pelvis. Start with that. You're just circling around like a hula hoop with your pelvis, not getting the upper body involved, not yet. And then change the direction of that movement. I'm going to turn to the side. You don't need to do anything different. We're going to do a little open and close. So it's going to take you into this big expansion for the open, and the close will round your back body. So make sure you include that roundness and that you feel the tuck of the pelvis to do it. Here's a tilt. Tilt of the pelvis shows up. Tuck. Inhale, open. Exhale, round down. Try to blow that exhale out of your mouth some way. Open it up. Forward fold now all the way down. So your arms are between your legs. You're looking down and underneath yourself. Heavy head. I don't go down like that. I'm always afraid the sound's going to be disturbed. So I kind of keep myself up, but don't let that affect you. Just if you happen to catch what I see what I'm doing, keep yourself down into a forward fold. Breathe into the belly now. Make sure you feel the belly moving when you're breathing. That's the intention here. Belly breathing. Why? Just to remind you, assigning value because of the internal organs, because you are then massaging the digestive system. All of the organs of digestion are getting fresh blood. There's some squishing going on. Big belly breathing for that reason. So we're more intentional about it. One more, just feel like, giving it a little more shot. Then one hand at a time comes to your thighs, elbows into your waist. Bring yourself halfway up. So it's a half lift. Squeeze those elbows into the waist so you can feel your shoulder blades squeezing in. Spread your arms away from you like wings. Now push into your feet like crazy. So your legs feel very strong, very engaged. Open up your chest. How much can you lift your face up? Your neck is going to help you out with that idea. How much could I? Holding, pushing your feet. Very good. Keep breathing. Let the arms help you come up. Just reach up. Palms facing each other. Your fingers are spread apart maybe. Good. Interlace the fingers so we can, just interlace and flip them around so the palms are reaching up. That's a nice stretch for your hands and your fingers and your wrists. And we'll come down in front with that and back up. So you can get a little back bend out of that. So when you come up, you kind of pull back. And yeah, sure, you can feel that little arch of the back. What's the rhythm of your breath? Inhale is where. Exhale is where. You decide. You and your body is going to figure that out. What feels right? Meet you with your hands up. When you release them, we're going to kind of start moving those fingers like you're playing the piano. Get your wrists to move too, so those joints of the hands and wrists are releasing and swirling around a little bit. Beautiful. all the way down. Great. Let's lift up. You might, I'm going to just check. I'm just going to see if it helps. I'm going to put my block back there to support my sacrum. I'm just going to try it. Maybe you're not, but maybe you are. So yeah, I like it. So I'm going to lift up. And then I'm going to try to quicken the pace. See if that works for you, or you're just going to see if you can generate a little more heat in your body. Arms, maybe you're holding onto the chair. Maybe you want to be really challenged and do something where there's a connection between your arms and your legs. Be creative. Stay with it. Last one. Now hold it. I've kind of lost my connection to the block. That's okay. Let's do a little open and close here. Inhale looks like that. That's the open position. Exhale, we got to bring it all together. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. There's got to be a rocking, does it, on your pelvis, rocking on your sit bones to make that work. I like it. It feels fun. Inhale, open. Exhale, close it up. I'm slowing it way down. See if you can do that too. Longer breath. We'll meet in a closed position. I'm going to turn. You don't need to. Keep your hands together. Maybe bind them together by weaving your hands together like you're making a fist. Lift those elbows up and come all the way down to tuck that into your belly wall. Lift up, expand, back bend. Exhale, round down, touch in, draw those elbows in towards your belly wall. Slow and easy, full breath in, full breath out. You may not be able to bring your arms together, but your hands can for sure be together. So you do the best you can with what the arms can do, but you can bring your hands together. And you can still find the same movement up and down. Trying to do a few more reps with each thing we do today. Last time when you come up, let's just release those hands so we can go back to the open position. Very good. And then drop your hands so we've got that scarecrow. See if you can adjust so you didn't feel like you're all tightened up through the neck and upper shoulder there. Find that movement again. And then down. And then slowly, slowly, you release the arms alongside. Oh, yeah, I can feel it. All right. To get out of the chair for standing poses, let's do this. Again, I'm turning. You don't need to. No block needed. So I'm going to put that underneath. So I'm turning. You don't need to. So you're bringing your legs together more like, yeah, even closer than hips distance apart. A little just closer than hips distance. So wherever you can find. And see about this, that you lift yourself out of the chair, but you just hover. You just hover above that. Couple practice rounds. Hands wherever you need them. And then now let's meet sitting in the chair. And then when we come up, because you know what this is, we're coming into chair pose, that very pose that's like a chair squat. That's a pose called Uttanasana. So we're going to bring ourselves up off that chair. Hands can then come either to the prayer position at your heart, or arms reaching out in front of you, or the more challenging, most challenging is arms up, weight up there. So you pick where you're going to be with that chair pose, and then sit it right back down and rest. Now, make sure you've got, thinking, oh, I wish my feet were a little further apart. Now that I know what I'm doing, fix that and come back to your chair pose. You lift yourself up off the chair. Remember, there's no pressure in your knees. You're pulling your body weight back. And if you can't do it without putting pressure in your knees, you're just going to stand up and wait for us. Okay. Just get out of it. Breathe in, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, breathe all the way out as you bring yourself up. Wait. Imagine that block is between your legs. You want that imaginary block there so you can squeeze into that and activate your Mula Bandha. You know, that's that powerhouse right at the very base, the root of the body, the core, the very basis of our core strength. Activate your Mula Bandha by squeezing an imaginary block between your inner thighs right now. Let's give a soft bend to the knee. Keep squeezing into that Mula Bandha. Inhale up and exhale all the way down and around. Palms face forward. See if you can hold that engagement. Just enough engagement that you know you turned it on. It's there. It might not be a powerful sensation, but you can tell the difference. That you can feel the floor of the pelvis sort of holding its own. There's a strength about it. Take a moment now, eyes closed, to just center yourself on the sensation of mountain pose. The strength of your legs, the strength of your upper body as well. And maybe you're kind of remembering how you can lean back into an imaginary wall. I like to use, these kind of images for myself. Leaning back into is a phrase I like. It's like supporting. What's supporting me? Many times it's invisible, but it's there. And I can feel the difference in the way I'm being, the way I'm feeling. My knowing has taken over again. I understand a little better. I do have support. Let's open the eyes. Inhale with me, palms will be together overhead. Exhale here at your heart. Inhale up. Exhale all the way down, 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 and around. Good. I want you to just turn your hands, palms up, just like this, elbows there. Make a little fist and pull in and drop them so that the palms change. So from palms up with a fist to palms down. And let's get that moving. I like to have my knees kind of bending. There's kind of a bounce with it. And then add a step. So when you bend your elbows and you pull it, you're going to take a step, and then we'll switch to the other side. All it is a step forward, 1 foot at a time, at a pace that feels fun and right for you. Find a drishti, look at something, stare at something so you feel like you've got some way to stabilize. Keep going. Count out 4 more. 2, 3. Wait. Find your mountain pose. Squeeze that imaginary block. Pull in the belly wall. Inhale up. Palms are going to come together. Interlace your hands so you've got that temple mudra. You've got your index finger extended. And then take a side bend. Squeeze those inner thighs. Try to straighten your arms as much as you can. Arms are straight. Come all the way back up. And let's go to the other side. Might feel different over here. Straight arms as you can. And all the way down and around. Let's get our legs together. Really squeeze your legs together. A little squat. Looks like that chair squat a little bit. But this is the one where we move through the knees joints. You're actually moving through all of your joints. Your feet, your ankles are doing that. So circle around, change the direction. Let's turn this into a chair twist. So if you can, if you want to, because you could do that, you could sit right back down and do it. So know that that's an option. So legs are together, hands come to the prayer position, cross over so the elbow comes to the outside of your knee. Breathe, squeeze. Come back to center. Other side. Turning your head. When you press your hands together, it's like you got some leverage there for support. Beautiful. Let's come back to center. Keep yourself together. I got hands together, got my legs together. Bring yourself up with everything kind of squeezing in toward the midline. Wait. Start to bring yourself into mountain pose. Even though your hands are in a different position, you know the fundamentals of setting up your mountain, the stability of that. Inhale up. Exhale, bow at your heart. Inhale up. Exhale all the way down and around. Some shoulder rolls. Change the direction. All right, let's use the back of the chair now. Let's support ourselves with the back of the chair. So however you position yourself, you want the back of the chair available to you. Start with just that L-shaped stretch. Hands are going to be there at the chair's back, and you're just going to stretch back. Feet are parallel to each other. You want to feel the whole surface of your feet, including your toes. Maybe you start and there's a soft bend in the knee, but I want you to start working towards straightening, even if it's just a tiny bit. The same distance you have between your hands should be the same distance you have between your feet. That's a good guideline. Stretch through the buttocks, pulling back, and let that pull through the buttocks help you feel it lengthening your spine, stretching your back muscles, lengthening the spine. Keep your left foot where it is. Take a big step forward with your right foot. So that right knee is going to be able to bend. Now, see if you can keep your back foot completely grounded. So if that heel starts to pop up, maybe you got to scoot your foot forward a little bit. So the both feet are connected to the floor. Hips are squared, you're facing your chair. Bent knee side, that hand's going to stay on the chair. The other hand's going to reach up. So you feel like a long leg and a long arm are matched. Lift up, put your mitten hand on and pull that thumb back. Lift your chest. If you feel really stable and good, you feel like you kind of got this today. Maybe both hands can come together overhead. Maybe not though. Don't worry if you've got to keep a hand on the chair. That's all good. It's all good. Feel the expansion of your whole body. Your whole body expanding. Let's get both hands back to the chair. Step that front foot back and stretch it back into your L shape. Deepen the breath. Don't let your head drop. I see that a lot. It's a heavy head, so try to prop it up so the head is held right between your arms. It's not hard to do once you remember to do it. That just really protects your neck. Now keep your right foot right where it is. Keep it there. Take that left foot forward now, switching sides. Bend into that left knee. Now again, if that's too big of a step and that back heel wants to pop up, scoot it up so you can do it. So both feet are flat. Bent knee side, that same arm's going to stay on the chair. The other arm is reaching up with a mitten hand. So it's a straight arm and straight leg on the same side. Lift up, pull back. Lift your chest, 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 chest. Smooth out that breath. And maybe both hands can do it. Maybe not. Feel the extension and the expansion either way. It's all good. Smooth out that breath. Feel your feet connected to this earth. And you're being held there. You're supported. One hand at a time, maybe, comes back to that chair. Step back once again, L-shaped stretch. With your body in this very shape, I want you to just turn your head so your left ear is facing the ground below. So you've just turned like to look over at your right arm. And then back to center. Turn your head so your right ear is facing the ground and your turn, your nose is over toward your left arm. Let's do that one more time on each side. You just time it out for yourself. Nice and easy, very mindfully. Of course, do both sides. And when you finish both sides, start walking slowly but mindfully back up to an upright position. Let's try a little toe balance. So you're going to lift your heels up. So we can just practice that way, just lifting the heels up. But eventually it's going to require a little bend of the knee, both heels up at the same time, and maybe letting go of the chair for support. So a toe balance and a squat all at the same time. If it hurts your knees, don't do it. Just go back to standing upright and getting your heels up. So it gives you a nice little movement through the ankles and feet, the toes. Find your breath. Both heels to the floor. Can you hold that? You still have your knees bent. You're still in this squat. Remember this one? This is our chair position. Hands stay together as you lift yourself up. Keep your hands together. Smooth out the breath through the whole length of your body. And take a note of the prana, of the experience now, of that vitality in your body. Maybe you got to close your eyes so you can really become aware of that. Let's take our inhale like that. And our exhale is the heart opener. And I want you to say those words to yourself. Inhale, exhale, open the heart. Inhale up, and you say, open the heart. One more. Let's hold it in the open heart position, breathing both in and out. And then neutralize that. Again, you got your scarecrow position. Elbows up, try to soften around your neck, and very slowly drop your arms alongside your body. And you feel the experience of letting go. Posture yourself so you're near your chair for support. So we can move into the tree pose, the balancing. Your weight's going to shift to the leg that's near your chair. And that leg is becoming the tree's trunk and its root. So envision that you're not trying to create a shape that looks like a tree. Like we're trying to imagine we are a tree. What would that be like? And if you have a tree you love, I've got several around here I love. Maybe you can just put yourself there. The other leg, not the root and the trunk, but the other leg that is using that tree trunk for support, should be in an external rotation. Ideally, you've externally rotated your knee. Get strong with your belly wall. Use your mula bandha. Got to figure that out. We got our legs apart, but know what's happening in the very root of your core strength. And you're lifting up. The arms are the branches of the tree, of course. And your drishti is so important. So find something to stare at. Don't stare at the screen. You know how to do this. So you can really feel the movement. Hardly ever do we come into such a pose and just hold it rock solid, no movement. Heck no. There's going to be movement. That's life. That is the way it is. And we can still be strong in the midst of that and intentional, even though there's a little bit of movement. There's some corrections along the way. Deepen the breath. Stay a little longer. Count. Give yourself a count. Give yourself that challenge. I'm going to hold it for the count you choose. When you come out of it, when it's time, step by step, mindfully bringing yourself back to your neutral position. And then change the setup so that you've got the support of your chair for your other leg. Create that tree trunk and the root. Engage the mula bandha. Externally rotate your other leg. That knee's going away from the tree's trunk. The arms become the branches of your tree. Find a drishti and tolerate the movement of your body, the subtle adjustments that are being made. That's all good. That's not a problem. Now find that full breath. That's the key. You come into this pose and you can find a full breath in and a full breath out, and it is empowering. Give yourself a goal, how many breaths you want to be here, and then count it. When you finish your count, mindfully bring yourself back to both feet on the ground. Separate your feet a little bit. Glue those feet together and then just shake. Release the energy. Just think you're just shaking, releasing energy. So it's just a big letting go. A big letting go. This shaking is valuable. You don't need to wait for a yoga class to do it. This kind of stuff is really helpful. Just to reset. Just reset. All right. Time for Shavasana. So be sure to get the support you need for that. Maybe you grab a second chair to heist up your legs. Maybe you go to your sofa. Be sure to get any kind of self-havening experiences like a blanket or a eye pillow or various things that can help you feel like you're even, really taking good care of yourself. Get a drink of water. And be sure, absolutely certain, that you've got a lot of support. You're not trying to tough something out. Like, I'm going to hold myself really strong and upright. like somehow there's value in that. I'm just going to say, let go of that. There really isn't. There really isn't. Let's use this time for absolute support, like 100%. We want our body to be supported now. And we're making that mental shift to allow that, to encourage ourselves to accept that support willingly, gladly, be supported and held. I like that word, to be held. Oh. All right, let's come into our first breath practice. Let the breath start at the pelvis. So you're feeling the breath like expanding from the pelvis and rising to the top of the head. When it's time to exhale, you turn it right around and drop down through that central channel back into the pelvis. Inhale starts to rise or kind of fill the pelvis as you let it come rising up that central channel to the top of the head. And exhale down back through the central channel to the pelvis. So we're using our intention and our imagination beautifully now to direct this breath throughout the body. Count out 5 more of those very breaths. Remember, the inhale and the exhale is the count of 1. No matter where you are on your count, the next time you are at the crown of your head, exhale down to the navel area. And then from the navel area, the belly button, we rise up to the crown of the head. So you've just shortened it a bit, moving through the central channel from navel to crown and the crown back to the navel area. So get your rhythm of that established and then count out 5 of those very breaths up and down the central channel. Nice and easy. Relax your mouth. No tension in your face. Not yet. It's not needed. Keep your mouth relaxed, tongue soft. We're going to meet at the crown of the head. Exhale down to the heart center, right in the center of your sternum. Inhale back up to the crown of the head. The breath just gets denser. It's still a long breath in and a long breath out. It's just like the quality of the breath is dense. That's the word I use. You can still do it now. Find your count of 5, moving from the heart center up to the crown, exhaling crown to the heart center. Let's meet at the crown of the head. And let that exhale drop to the throat pit, right there at the pit, at your clavicle area. And then back, we rise that breath to the crown of the head. Exhale to the throat pit. When you find that rhythm, you can start counting. This time, a count of 3. Our next focal point will be the tip of the nose. So we start at the crown, exhale down to the tip of the nose, inhale back from the tip of the nose, and just rest with that. No more counting, just be with that if you choose. And feel now the space that surrounds you is holding you. Can you imagine that? The space around your body is holding you. The 3 qualities of this meditative state are present for us now. Space, silence, stillness. And the poem for today is entitled, Remember This. Vast and changeless, the ground of being is not rocked by ripples on the pond. The firmament from which we spring, the divinity at the heart of things, doesn't wax or wane with mind states or wither in the wind. We come from stronger stuff than feelings. Essence does not fail or fade, diminish or trade reality for illusion. We are wordless, wide, and wise beyond time. Within us is a flame of truth that never dies. Let that be the focal point of life. Let that be the light that guides us from the shadows. Remember this. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale it out with a sigh. Ah. Do that as many times as you want, as many times as you need, as we start introducing movement back in the body. Use that breath or another breath that you like to make our transition. Maybe with hands at the prayer position in the heart and eyes open. I'm just going to remind us of that opening prayer. You might want to use it in your family or for yourself. And that is this. We come into a place or a position and we say, may what needs to be said is said. May what needs to be heard is heard. May what needs to be released is released. And that which can be embraced is embraced. Let's sync up our breath. Inhale with me, palms together, up and overhead. Exhale, bow at your own heart. Inhale back up. And when we exhale, we're going to share this loving energy with our community on this last practice for the year of 2025. Thank you so much for being in my community, supporting me and one another. I love you all so very much. Hands come to the prayer position. We bow to ourselves. We bow to one another. Namaste, my friends. Happy New Year.